Since March 1st, 2024, I have made $19,500 in the Creator Fund. Okay, and so
I am such a sucker for just like swag. Like, you know that Office episode where he just goes around and collects, like they go to the paper
Yes.
conference, he just goes around and gets everything from everyone. I'm like, oh my god, give me all the novel t-shirts and necklaces and pins.
But there was no backlash there because they don't see the line of reasoning, because all I am is a product of somebody's algorithm.
Imagine, I have like 6 of these kids that are passionate about Pokemon no matter what. Multiple of us going in and scalp. Well, I probably shouldn't use that word, scalping. Share the profit.
Okay, so you
This
just
is-
invented you just invented gangs.
You come here. I bet you, if you're like me, and you make content online, or you've been juggling around the idea of making content online, you've wondered, how much am I worth? If a brand reaches out to me, how much money should I say, hey, you should pay me this amount? Me too. You know, and Mr. Ruff has also wondered that question too. Questions like that, and more pertaining to collecting the bag, making money, as the children say. No, wait, it's the other way around. I would say making money. My kids would say collecting the bag. Different than putting the fries in the bag. That's a whole different thing. That's different. In this episode, we're going to talk all about making money online and as an educator. Starting off with the general idea of how much we make, how we get paid, our journey of finding the right school in the right district to get paid what we think is fair to us. And even talk about some of the side gigs that teachers pick up that pertain to effort that we give online, such as Teachers Pay Teachers or making videos, tutorials, or entertainment. Stick around if you haven't started your drive yet, or if you're beginning to fold laundry before you get your hands all staticky and we don't want to ruin your whole battery or screen or whatever. Stop real quick, okay? Like, follow, whatever you're doing on this platform to make sure that we get some engagement. We would appreciate it. Make sure to hit that. Watch through the whole thing if you can. If you can't, totally understandable. But without further ado, this is Collecting the Bag. All right.
Type C teachers. C is for collecting the bag. C is for cash rules everything around me cream. And that is because at one point in my life, do you happen to know who owned dollar bills, y'all, in the early 2000s? I did.
Okay.
I owned the domain. Did I do anything with it? No. There was nothing on it. I let it lapse. But I don't know. If you want to know about a fun little side quest for Mr. Rupp before he was Mr. Rupp, it was the ownership of dollar bills, y'all.
And you let it lapse, so you didn't like cash in, like someone else bought it out?
I had intentions of making it an email address because I probably thrown out at my Hotmail address, and I didn't know if I could put that on like my teacher applications, like
that'd be
fresh graduate,
so sick.
Jacob.rupp@dollar-billsyall.com.
That would be so sick. Oh my god. I wonder where it is now. Have you like checked in on it ever?
I have not, but I could right now. Hold on. So I bet we could buy it.
Was it Dala, like A?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the exact way he said it.
You had to, yeah. So great.
It is parked free. Somebody currently owns it. So we're out of business there. So if you were the proud owner of dollar-billsyall.com, just know it's already tread territory.
You're not original, whoever you are.
No, I was there. And so today we are talking about money in all ways. We are talking about teacher money. We are talking about internet money. We are talking about the things we've seen involving both of those on the internet. And that is where we are going to start with our morning routine guy. What is his? You put this one on here, and I've seen it for like a moment, but my students are obsessed with it. They're all talking about this guy.
I love this guy so much. Yeah, all the people I watch online are talking about it. I see parodies of it all on my For You page. It's mainly just people filling up a bucket full of ice water or having someone else do it for them and just like drowning themselves essentially. It's like,
and then being and then being so inconvenienced by that water because somebody keeps on like it was some kid that went to like Ole Miss. He's like a football player or something, and they just kept on pushing the water in front of him, and he was like, "Jeez, come on!" Like by the
I
end of
gotta
it, he had a
keep doing it.
helmet on, and they put it in front of him.
I mean, I'm sure it exfoliates or tightens the skin or some sort of skin routine. It's just doing it 7 times a day. Is that necessary for a morning routine?
I have not watched the entire duration of one of those videos.
Oh,
I haven't.
My gosh, we've got to do at least
What time
the
does it
original one.
end?
Oh
does
my god, I can't remember. I don't know. I think it ends at like noon or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then he's been up for 8 hours.
Yeah, he's like, I start at 3:20 a.m. I go on a run. I lift weights. I read a little bit. I listen to a sermon. I go back out. I go to the pool. I go back to the gym. And I hop on these investor calls. It's so fake.
Unsustainable.
It's so unsustainable. So fake. And he's like, I hire so many guys to just follow me around and record everything I do. I'm like, okay, bud.
Is it? Wait, it's not satire, is it?
No way.
Okay.
No way.
When you said it was so fake, I didn't know if it was actually fake or if it was just like we can look at this and tell it is not authentic. It is in fact manufactured.
Yeah.
But it's trying to be serious.
Well, yeah, he's selling the idea of his lifestyle, and he's one of the, he's a fitness Instagram person, personality, and he's selling the idea if you can book him for your calls, he'll give you 3 steps so that you can get to where he's at. And that call costs $1,000, and then that's how he makes his money every day.
I mean, by giving away the schedule, I feel like I'm getting the keys for free here. Like, I don't know. Why buy the cow when I can get the milk for free?
That's right. You're giving away too much. You're selling the bag, man.
I couldn't agree with yes. Yeah, that's valuable to know that I should set an alarm for 3 a.m. That's outrageous. Never.
You're breaking your circadian rhythm, dude. I don't know too much about nothing, but I'm just like, you need sleep, especially if you're trying to get gains. Like this dude, I mean, clearly he's like jacked out of his mind.
Yes.
Getting plenty of medical assistance, I assume. It's not the 3 a.m. workouts.
And at some point, all of the reading and all of that focus must be working too, because to make that kind of content, when I looked at his account, he had millions of views a post, and every one I looked at was at least a minute long, which means he's monetizing severely. And we can talk about the specifics of RPM and how it works. Ooh. But for me, if I get 1 million views, it's like $1,200. So if you look at 1 million views and you even call it 1,000, right? I mean, each one of those videos is so much money.
Yeah, I'm curious about the ROI there. That's me using my financial brain term. You guys can.
I like ROI.
Yeah, take note of that, investors. Follow me.
Return on investment for the layman.
The laymen out there who don't know how to get Sigma grind gains like us.
Yeah. Grind sets the mindset for sure.
That's right. But to record videographers or to have videographers record you and use their equipment, go out and do that stuff. I'm wondering how much that honestly takes off of if he makes 1 million views off a video with authentic engagement and whatnot. I wonder how much of that comes out through the people he's getting to produce his content. That's just me, I wonder if we could find that on Fiverr.
And I'm definitely not on that level yet. I have no idea I didn't realize he had
You don't ship out your content?
Film crew, and I almost tuned out because all I could think of, did you ever watch Zach Stone's Gonna Be Famous?
Yeah, with Bo Burnham?
Yes.
It's so good. Oh.
My wife and I were obsessed. Every week, we were tuned in to watch Zach Stone's Gonna Be Famous, and the last episode is so incredible. The whole thing's incredible, but him just paying for that camera crew, I think that's one of the better shows I've ever seen in my life, being honest.
So good. Oh man, I don't remember the last episode, but I remember everything up to that, and then he had a similar character in Parks and Rec too. Where he was the country star. Oh, it was so good.
He, so the last, I don't know. If you're going to watch it, then fast forward for 30 seconds. But the last episode is where he gets on the news. Like somebody does a local news thing about him, but then that goes viral apparently because he's not really paying attention because he's trying to mend that relationship with his girlfriend or not girlfriend, whatever he wants it to be. But he walks out and there's like paparazzi out there basically taking pictures of him. And you realize that he has learned nothing.
Yeah.
Like after this moment of sincerity, there's all the lights, and he's like, loving it.
I did it.
Oh my god, it's so great.
I wonder what that feeling's
I feel like that sometimes when my post goes over 300 views.
Yeah, I felt like that last week. I got a good 2 mil up there. I didn't make any money. Yeah, I did. And there's like it's like a double-edged sword. I feel like everything is with social media, especially like virality in a sense. It's like I did this thing, it got a lot of attention, and usually like with dance stuff, it's like a lot of positive attention. Like people are saying like, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, I haven't seen that before." But on the downside, you're like, it wasn't enough to like get me to the next step of where I wanted. It's kind of an illusion that I'm always chasing after. It was a copied dance off of someone else, so it's like, oh man, what's the real value in this thing that I'm bringing? And it's getting a lot of attention. I mean, I did get a brand deal, but that was in the process before the video went off. It just made me look good to the brand. You know, I could be like, hey,
I cannot
this money.
First of all, congratulations. Secondly, I don't care if the choreo's from somebody else. None of that matters. You're entertaining people. That is entertaining. You are in part an entertainer. That matters a lot. Yeah. And it's great that the views are even coming because I understand. Like, I'll hit these walls where like I'm barely getting over. I'm not getting to 1,000. Right. Mm-hmm. And like 1,000 is really the milestone where you can actually start to make money. But it also kind of indicates like, what am I doing wrong? Because I should be able to do that because I've done it so successfully, so regularly. Right. So then you start to question your process, which is the guy I want to talk about. Okay. So like his name's Satish or Satish.
Yeah.
Satish, like British. Okay, Satish. And you know him from videos where he used to talk just like a bro. And then at the end, he would break into what was the song you were singing before we started? He would just break into song at the end, like, where are you?
Yeah.
And then it was over.
Just break into some sort of emo punk, audio dribble that's like been stuck in the back of your mind forever, waiting to get out.
And those videos are TikTok gold, and I've been following him for a long time. And then, like in a testament to what he's saying, I stopped seeing him on my FYP at all, and just sort of forgot, like in the friends and whatever. Like I used to really like what that guy was saying. So recently, he's popped back up on my For You page, but probably not on your For You page, which is why it's important to talk about. This guy has 2 million followers.
Because I knew I would get some responses like this. Because the point wasn't, I have 2 million followers. Why am I not getting views? That wasn't the point. Because I didn't just have a video go viral and I moved to LA and my life changed in like 3 months. That's not the type of content creator I am. That didn't happen to me. I've been at this slowly for 4 years, and this is what pays my bills. This is what I do to put food on my table, put clothes on my back, take my girl out to dates. This is what I do to do that. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, just get a 9 to 5. That's what I've been trying to do at least for the last year. I graduated from grad school with a bachelor's and master's in computer science, and I'm a software engineer by day. So I've been trying to find a new job on top of that to live more comfortably, but the tech market has been horrible. It really has. So I feel stuck, and I feel like that's valid. That's the point that I'm trying to make here, is that I feel stuck.
Okay, and he was getting a ton of views. The problem, and we've talked about this with content in general, is that a lot of what he was monetizing on probably back when he started making a living on this was content that wasn't a minute long, but you didn't used to have to be a minute long. You just got paid like really like fractionally versus what it is now. Yeah. So now he's making these posts, which again need to be a minute long to monetize, and he's getting like a couple hundred views. Couple thousand views, maybe like 5,000 views is the dollar menu. It's really like in a literal way. I'm not saying that like, oh, that's nothing. I'm saying in terms of the money that you make, it's $1 or $2. Mm-hmm. He makes his living off of this, and like he said, he's a software engineer. He's looking for jobs, and like he's not able to find them. And it's like the idea of 2 million followers versus 5,000 views is mind blowing to me. So the question I was going to ask you is, have you ever gone through lulls like that where it feels like the algorithm is spiting you? Like, it's not even the thing you're making. Like, this is a hit. These are hits, and then you just go weeks, and then it starts to ask you to promote.
Oh my god, don't even get me started. Don't even check out my threads account, because like every time I see that, I'll be scrolling on the For You page.
You're bothered. I knew this one would get a reaction.
I'll be just like scrolling mindlessly before I go to bed or something, or when I wake up, and like third or fourth one down, it's my video, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting served shoot. And it's like, hey, this would go viral if you paid for the promote. And I'm like, I'm like, oh my god, I just want to throw my phone against the wall.
I can't, and I don't know to what extent other people get these things, so I'm just going to talk as though they don't. But the worst feeling, the thing that my friend Mikey here is discussing, is that oftentimes you have hit a lull. You have had a series of videos that haven't done anything. And frankly, usually it's kind of inexplicable. Like, these are the sorts of things that hit other times, so I don't know why not this time. And then you're scrolling through your FYP, and all of a sudden your own face shows up. And at the bottom, you're like, that's disorienting. So you look around to wonder why, because your own videos never do that. And it's like, you could pay us to make other people see this.
Mm-hmm.
I have never done it. I am fully convinced that my account would become reliant upon that. Have you ever actually done it?
I have never done it, and we've like personally chatted about should I do it. I was in that lull, especially like starting to come out with my content that's over a minute long, trying to get some money off of this. I like asked you like, hey, like, is this bad? Like, am I gonna end my whole career if I do this? And part of me is just like, I really wonder how much the guys at the top do this. Like, if they consider it like a brand would consider investing in a creator. It's like, well, or like a Silicon Valley mindset kind of thing. I can waste all the money in the world as long as I'm getting myself out there, and then the opportunities will come after. Like, that's my sincere mindset. And I don't know if that's the game they're trying to play.
So I learned about a thing from one of my former students who's on the hunt for 10,000 followers. He's on his way up there. He's getting pretty close.
Good luck.
And he found, and he's way into the analytics.
Yeah.
And he found, I can't think of the name of it, but it doesn't matter because you have to pay for it, and he paid, and I'm never going to. But he found that he'd had a series of videos that were talking about, like, I don't think it was Sabrina Carpenter, Addison Rae, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe she had a new, or Madison Beer. Somebody had a new song, and so he had made posts and he had used the new song. And he found through this analytics site that his videos had been promoted by them, by like either the record company or her. But he was getting
like
millions of views.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was getting millions of views, but he didn't pay for them. They were coming from this other space, and so his videos were going nuclear. And it wasn't him, because I know you can see when people sponsor it. You can see when they promote. A glorious time period in my life was when I was on Midwestern divorce TikTok. And it was just like guys using like the blue-eyed filter and just like doing lip sync duets. But every one of these posts was promoted. Everything, because it says it.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And hopefully me talking about it gets me back there, because I miss it.
I just want to be on Midwest Divorce TikTok so bad. My life was good back then.
They were just thirst traps, and it was everywhere. And like, it would just be like dudes drinking White Monsters, and then just like women just like staring at the camera, but they were like 50, and it was so filtered, and it was so wild.
Golly.
It was a simpler time. It was a simpler.
Things were better then, and I'm sure that's what they say alongside those videos.
But I mean, honestly, I just feel so bad for this guy who made this content that was so great and so perfect for this platform, and then was like, I'm actually a real human being that does things of interest, and I would like to share those with you. And the algorithm was just like, actually, fuck you.
It kind of makes me wonder.
Go back.
Yeah.
Go back to what people were watching, and not this thing.
Yeah. It kind of makes me wonder, like, what TikTok specifically, what people on TikTok have created a formula of success on this issue, like breaking out of either having a low lull of views or branching out into other platforms. One that comes to mind specifically that kind of transverses our realm of education is the Angry Gym Teacher. I don't know if you follow him.
No, I'm not on. I don't watch. I'm not gonna lie. I don't watch a lot of education content. I watch Nunchuck Tyler,
Oh,
or like the kids building the
Doug
fort in the
Judy.
woods, but then they couldn't build it because he had to get his grades up.
Oh, I watched the first episode of that. I guess I didn't follow along closely.
It blew up and everybody loved it, and then there was a lull and people didn't know why, and then he just posted a text video that was like, "I had to get my grades up, but we'll get back to the fort soon."
That's so awesome, dude. Oh man,
Yeah.
not
But no,
to-
Angry Gym Teacher. Sorry, who was
yeah,
that?
just some guy who makes education type content. Usually, it's like real simple, like, "Hey, I made this game for my kids." He also is connected with board teachers, like tangentially. I think he just like does comedy for them, like goes on comedy tours or whatever. So that's another way that he branches out sincerely. But he just reposts on Instagram and like Threads, and somehow he's gotten tens of thousands of followers on there. That's maybe someone we want to get their attention of. We've been kind of mutuals for a while. I might do a little digging there.
I was about to say, that sounds
Yeah.
like the kind of guy that we should talk to, because I've been having similar conversations with a teacher who makes Hunger Games content.
Oh.
And yeah, and she's super interesting, and her school seems really into this idea that like she's teaching, and like you can hear student voices, and like this is an exception to a rule that we have talked about a lot, and you can hear student voices, but these kids are so damn excited about the Hunger Games, and these videos are like, it's hard not to get caught up in it, if I'm being honest. Like, they're so interesting, but she's gaining followers at a super rapid clip. I swear last week she had like 12,000, and now she has like almost 30,000. Like,
That's
it's
crazy.
flying, and I think it might have a lot to do with the video. But she and I were talking today about the idea of like, so do I have to make this kind of content forever? Because I love it, but like, there's also summers or times I'm not teaching this or whatever. So how do I actually... like what is my scope? And I think what people don't realize is that we, and everybody I think gets it, but we have analytics. And you can see how many people see your videos that are your followers versus aren't. And I don't know that I've ever had a video, even if I have 75,000 followers, I don't know that I've ever had a video of 10,000 views where I even had 1% of the people that were my followers.
Okay, interesting. There's a lot that you said there that I was like, oh, I'd love to talk about that. It's especially that like that question of, do I just continue doing this sort of thing forever? I mean, I feel like every content creator gets to that point. It's like, okay, I made 17 videos of the same thing, and they're all hitting because they're all a part of the same trend, or they're part of the same sound, and it's still successful. But I'm bored of it, or it's not getting me anywhere further. Like, I'm not getting... I had a couple of years ago, I like the king of this one sound from, it was like a mix between Eminem's an Eminem song and like a Skyrim NPC dialogue, and like I cornered that. Every video was
I remember.
going
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I know
hundreds
exactly
of thousands, millions of views.
like, you were breaking the law. That one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That one. And I remember, and yeah, my sister sent me a text one time, and she's like, "Are you done with this?" I'm like, "Why?" I'm being successful, I think. I don't know. But yeah, eventually I got to that same point of, am like, this isn't really doing anything for me. I'm running out of moves. I'm hurting myself. I feel like my issues are extrapolated as like someone who does like physical entertainment. But it's the same issue of like, the creative well runs dry.
So my answer to her had to do with this idea of like, if on our end, as we are people, make this content and we put it out there, we have a very distinct line of reasoning. Like, we know why we make the videos that we do, and we know kind of how they relate to the previous ones. But when you then go and look at it and you recognize that less than 1% of the people that are watching it are going to have no idea about that line of reasoning, they're not going to care, right? I made a post where I said I didn't love the Hunger Games, the new one. It got like 50,000 views. People were furious. I should never teach again. I have screenshots. My very next post was also about the Hunger Games, and people were like, "You seem like a great teacher.
Yeah.
This is wonderful." Because none of the same people saw it. And like, granted, maybe they're not followers, but there was no backlash there because they don't see the line of reasoning because all I am is a product of somebody's algorithm. I happen to be there when they scroll through. Like, it's not the Jake Rupp show for almost anybody except for the guys that want me to take my shirt off.
Which I'm one of, okay? Guys, it's me. I'm the one sending him messages about this. You
Fan
say
accounts.
Oh man, you say all that. I just feel like we have like a really, I don't know if this is the right word, but like myopic view of TikTok and the For You page. It's like that's why some people reposting content still bangs for them. Like it still cranks
Yes.
out millions of views, either because they're like, oh, I haven't seen this in a year, I forgot about this thing, or they've just never seen it. Like
Yes.
you might get 1 million views, but there are 7 billion people and 10 billion TikTok accounts, you know?
The thing happened to me. I made a post about this student that did a really nice thing for me. I made it a year ago in March, and it did like almost 2 million at that point. It was a really solid chunk of money. Like, that was spectacular. So right before TikTok got shut down, I reposted it because it was my favorite post. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere because I didn't think it'd have anywhere to go because it wasn't supposed to have a platform anymore. So I posted it. TikTok got banned. TikTok came back. I didn't think about it because it got like 20,000 views, which is cool, but I don't know. I kept posting. A week and a half ago, it did 1.5 million. That post from 2 months ago, which is from a year ago,
That's
which had already done millions.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Like, there's so many people on the internet.
Yeah.
That I think is my takeaway. Is it's just so massive that I'm like, people are going to notice this. No, because I'm not the main character of the internet. Sometimes it feels like you are when you're getting negative attention, but you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but sometimes we get brand deals, which you alluded to, and I would like to know more as we talk about different ways to garner attention. I would like to know about the brand deal. This is not a commercial, by the way. I mean, if it turns in, I don't think this is going to be a commercial.
Yeah.
We'll see if it turns into one.
We'll see what we get. Okay, I think this is important as we, like, this is what everyone comes to these kinds of videos or podcasts for. Is like,
okay,
what do I make for my deliverables? Like, how do I market myself? What am I worth? And I've kind of hopped around a little bit. I can tell you my first brand deal, like, not my first brand deal, my first dream brand deal. And debatably, it's still not what creators should be asking for. It's just like, I really love this thing. I've been using it forever. Like, I had gotten, I was feeling a little thirsty, so I like stepped into the DMs of Talking Points, which is this education app that it's like an auto translator. It's like a mass messaging, kind of like Remind, or like Parent Square we use now, I think, at my school. It does that, but it auto translates using like I think it's in-time translators, or it did it a while back. It might use like some sort of AI engine now. Not the point. I reached out to them. They messaged me back, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And it was my dream brand deal. I was like, I really believe in this company. I want to do stuff for you guys. They ended up sending me out to a like a NEA conference to rep a booth too. It was crazy. They paid for it and everything. So sick. I always forget about that. But I asked for, I think, $500 a video. And I made like 3 videos for them, made some posts, made some like testimonial stuff for them, and it totaled in around like $1,500. So it wasn't this huge company, but I know like a lot of teachers use it, and I'm like, this could pay for like a Christmas or something. This is a month of rent. And I feel like that's realistic. It's like when you are putting yourself out there to make a brand deal, think about what you need to survive that month and be like, okay, like if this was my real job, like how much would I need? How much would it be worth it to make this thing? You know? So this new brand deal that I'm working with, I went with the same 500, and I kind of justified it as like $100 planning, $200 filming, and then $200 post editing, like to make it look good. I feel like for a creator my size, that's fair. But some people, I've talked to that.
And let's be clear on your numbers. How many followers do you have, Mikey?
I have 270,000 followers.
Okay.
Yes, 270,000. Yeah.
So okay, so with that, $500 a post, and then how? So what does that look like then? What are the terms of that? Like how many are you making? What are you doing?
It's 500 per video. It's 500 per video right now, and it's gonna be one video so far.
Okay.
We'll see like where it goes. I'm excited. I got some good ideas brewing, some things cooking in my noggin. Because it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I can like actually see like my space and the people that follow me kind of being interested in this product that I'm going to be pushing. I feel like, I mean, sell out, go ahead, go chase that bag, but also, there's an aspect to caring about what you're pushing.
Yeah. C is for credibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that C is for character, because that does matter. And I have never been approached in any authentic way, like beyond what people send to me on TikTok, right? Like there was a treadmill company, but I think they do it for a lot of people, but they gave away treadmills. So I was like, oh, it's a walking treadmill. I'm looking at one right now. And so I said yes to that, and all I had to do for that treadmill was make 3 posts. They did nothing. Like, we talked about that idea of hitting 1,000 views and that being like, okay, like this wasn't awful, but it could have been better. These ones had like 120, because the second it said sponsored post at the bottom, I think people were like, nope.
Yep.
Like, I'm out. The only other time I've had anything like that, Gordon Seafood sent me a message, and like the fish stick people, and they sent me a message, and they said they were doing this like Summer of Joy or something for like their 150th anniversary, something outrageous. They've been around forever. And so they were like, so how much do you charge? And I had like 40,000 followers at this point, and I was like, I have no idea. So I asked all my friends who don't know shit, like none of us are on the internet, we don't know how to do this. And so I was like, $1,000, and they did not email me back.
Yep. And
then I emailed them, and they're like, we decided to go a different route. And if you go on there, there's like a lot of people making posts about Gordon Seafood. They've really been into that corner, but
they just love the fish.
Apparently, but what they don't love is supporting teachers in need. But no, I have never received a brand deal, but that's super exciting. Did you say who it is? Can you say who it is? Is that too much?
I'm not going to say who it is, but it's probably going to be posted in April. So whenever this comes out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see how it turns out, and we'll see if I'm $500 richer.
I hope in the next one you're just like wearing all of their merch, and like the TV behind you is just like them. I'm just like in the corner up here, like, guys.
I am such a sucker for just like swag, like that Office episode where he just goes around and collects, like they go to the paper conference and he just goes around and gets everything from everyone. I'm like, oh my god, give me all the novel T-shirts and necklaces and pins.
I would give anything just so I could, without prompting, tell the story of where I got it.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing that I want to tell people about it. I want you to know that someone gave, that I didn't earn it. Yeah. Because I'm not sure that what I do on here is really like earned me anything beyond what I have already on here. But like, man, I don't know. I'd wear the hell out of some shirts.
I think you deserve at least a cameo in whenever they make this new Hunger Games book into a movie. I think you deserve a cameo. Listen here.
I'm going to end up being, I'll be like, oh, you haven't read it. But we can talk spoilers, so if you haven't read it yet, don't do it. In the middle of that book, in the arena, there's just game makers like cleaning up, which is one of the most preposterous parts about it. There's like 5 kids left, and they run into this clearing, and there's just like Capitol employees out there like doing work, and they're like, what are you guys doing here? And then the tributes kill all of those people, and that one of them's going to be me. That's the role I want.
Dead employee number 1.
Right. Dead Game Maker. They wouldn't give me number 1. Dead Game Maker 2. I'm the one that just like falls down, and you just hear me like, ah.
That would be
that's going to be my role in the upcoming Hunger Games movie.
That makes me wonder, have you like ever reached out to an agency or had someone reach out to you for an agency?
I don't know how to I make jokes with my students. Like if you go back to when I gave a graduation speech in 2022, okay, and I had like I think I'd like made a TikTok at that point, and I got to give the commencement speech. The students voted for it. I got to do it. And the young lady that introduced me right before I go on, she's like, even though his aspirations of becoming a teachfluencer on TikTok are noble, we're happy to have him. Like I've been joking about this for a really long time. So the point is, now that I'm kind of here and it's something that I'm making money on, and like some of these videos get, I don't know, like I'm in a decent echelon of people making this content. I don't know how to do that with any degree of seriousness. Like I don't know that I can confidently say like my presence making something for you, me being the face of something that you are trying to sell. I don't I don't know that I can do that, not in good conscience, because I don't know, I can bullshit, but like I don't think I'm comfortable. I don't know. I'm not confident enough for that. I don't feel like I have the credibility. I don't think my ethos is there.
What? Dude, it's so there. Especially, like, dude, if you got, like, a sponsored post from freaking Goodreads or something.
I'd give anything for that. I would love my. Let's just make a wish list.
Yeah, that's what
let's put it out
I
into the
meant to
universe.
put that in the outline. I was like, what if we came up with, like, our dream brand deals and then we could, like, make a pitch to them? We could make a more. I thought about this. I was like, what if we made, like, a morning routine video and, like, somehow incorporated, like, hey, I've been using this product or I love this thing. Like comment them in the name so that we get their attention. That kind of stuff has worked for me before with celebrities.
Really? Okay, It's worked for me when I make posts about Chili's.
You mean the
It's
place
happened, like,
where
I've had
every
Chili's
Gen
comment on my
Z
post like 3 times. It worked. They're razor blades disguised as tortilla chips, and Chili's was like, "It's all good in the neighborhood." That's Applebee's, but like Chili's showed up and they like loved it. It was so great. I was like, "Kids, Chili's sauce." Yeah, I mean, my dream. I would love a wood watch company.
Okay.
Yeah, I love wood watches. I get a lot of compliments on them, and that fills my bucket. I like that a lot. Educationally, like I don't know what because I don't have any videos where I'm like endorsing educational technology or talking about how I utilize it. I use docs and I make tables. Like that's the extent. I changed the font to Carla. Like that's about what I
Google
got
Sheets,
going on
reach
for me
out,
there.
bro.
Right. If Expo wants to sponsor me because I can flip a marker around.
You can't just say that. Oh,
Yeah.
oh!
And then look at this one. Yeah.
He's
And then
the
you go up
goat.
and you go up and down.
Were
Yeah.
you a drummer?
No, I was just bored. And there was this kid named Joel, and Joel knew how to flip a pin. I went to high school with him, and I stared at it because he would do this all the time. And so I watched him and tried to figure out how he was doing it. And I finally learned after hours of watching him. And then Joel and I became really good friends. And that is a story, actually, we probably should have told on the Conspiracy podcast, and I will tell you off the air because it is wild. But yeah, Joel with the markers.
Joel with the markers. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and then I learned the one where you go like through your fingers here from a student.
whoa.
Yeah,
Dude, it's so sick.
I know. So Expo, call me or whoever makes these pins. I like these ones too. Papermate, I'll be your papermate.
Papermate. Dude, that should be their slogan
That's
Paper.
about to be when they use this.
when they use
What? So okay.
So wood watches and pin companies.
wood watches and pin companies. I think that's where my head's at.
There's
I
a lot
do
of
love
money
books.
there branding.
I do love books and Psych. If they ever make a new movie, I'll be the first one to advertise that. I'll be in it. Sean Spencer's body double.
Did you watch?
You can be Dule. You can be Dule Hill.
Dule Hill. Is that what? I don't know. I'm so bad. Okay, Gus. I am so bad with actors' names.
You go ahead and look up Gus from Psych, and you tell me. If you
I
think you can pull it
know
off.
who Gus from Psych is. I'm not. I would
You
have
heard about
gotten
Pluto?
Gus.
That's messed up. You got to watch Psych. You'll understand me a whole lot better if you recognize that I've stolen all of my personality from Psych and then like sprinkled in a little bit of Jake Peralta from 9-9, and that's how you get me.
I am seeing that. My favorite one is the spelling bee episode where he's like, spell banana. A yellow fruit.
God, I love the B. And if you look at the title of that episode, they spell spelling wrong, which is the best part. Because I watch it every night. Not that episode, but it.
Oh.
So, okay. So we are now people that get brand deals. You are worth $500. I don't know what I am worth because I have never been paid.
You're priceless. That's what I'm saying.
I'm priceless. So we are both people that make money on the internet. Do we want to start with, we are also both people that make money teaching. These are both avenues of income. Which one do we want to talk about first?
I think it's important. I wanted to go back to something you were saying. How often can you disclose like how often you get paid a month?
For teaching?
Yeah, like how often?
Yeah. So where I'm at, I get paid once every month for 12 months.
Okay. I didn't know.
And there's no options.
Okay.
So in Arizona, it was way different. And that's not like everywhere I've worked in Colorado is one paycheck every month for 12 months, and there are no options there.
Whoa.
In Arizona, I don't know if it's still like this, but in Arizona, it was wild. You had 3 options, okay? You could get paid, it was always every 2 weeks, but you could get paid every 2 weeks for 9 months and then not at all during the summer. You could get paid every 2 weeks over the course of 12 months, but obviously your paycheck was lower.
Right.
Or you could do the option that my wife and I did because we were in our 20s and we liked to go to Vegas and we were broke, but it felt like you were rich because you could break your salary up over those 12 months, get paid out over the 9 months that you were teaching every 2 weeks, but then the last check before you went on summer break was called a May pay because it was in May, and then you got a lump sum for all of it. And so you get like 7 paychecks worth of money all at once. And my wife and I would both get them because we were teachers. We were like,
let's go gambling.
Exactly. Like we'd try to pay all of our bills up front. We both had full-time jobs in addition. So it was like, let's just do this. And then by the end of the summer, we weren't doing anything. We were just like sitting indoors.
You're like,
hoping the AC didn't shut off.
We got enough money to breathe this week.
Yeah, that was more or less it. And we were drinking Arizona tap water, and that was the extent of our luxury. Like the dogs and us shared food. What's it there? I mean, do you guys? Is it monthly?
So in Tennessee, in Nashville, where I worked, it was bi-weekly, and it was so sick.
Okay.
And you could choose 10-month or 12-month pay. I always got 10-month, and I was like, I'll just get a job over the summer. I never got a job over the summer, and that was dumb.
Yeah. Responsible.
I was a gymnastics coach at one point, and that was pretty fun. Shout out to all my Tennessee trickers out there. You know who you are.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Doing standing backflips.
A lot more than that. A lot of them went on to be. Oh man, one of my students. I'm so proud of him. He kept the dream alive. He's a circus performer now. Oh, it's so sick. Shout out.
We have that in common. I had a kid who did trapeze.
Whoa.
Yeah, and he was super good at it. He was fully a circus. Or I don't know circus, but he was a performing trapeze artist. I taught him in high school.
He
was awesome.
Sick. I love stories like that of kids going off and doing crazy things like that. It's so sick. So at Nashville, I got paid bi-weekly, and then Knoxville and here in Texas, it's monthly, and it was always 12-month pay. But I was just curious. I didn't know how payments work in your neck of the woods.
When teachers talk about money, here's the thing I've been thinking about as we've been coming up with this and just brainstorming it all week. When teachers talk about money, the immediate thing is that, first of all, it sounds like we're complaining, which some of us are. I don't think that that's maybe necessarily what's happening here. But there's also this idea that because we knew what we signed up for when we got into it, that somehow invalidates the idea that maybe in spaces, some teachers might not make enough. And that maybe saying they could feasibly earn more because the money's out there somewhere, and that maybe the work that they do warrants it, I don't think is an unreasonable thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that about myself, but I am saying that is a thing. I just saw a video the other day of a teacher talking about how much money she makes versus how much money she would make in 20 years, and it was $8,000 more than what she makes right now. And the comments were nobody loves to complain like teachers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like, man, first of all, like, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
But second, like, are you just around teachers complaining all the time, or are you just on a corner of the internet where people complain? And then when it's teachers, that bothers you.
What kind of
'Cause
weird
I think that's more likely.
shit are you into, man? Why are you just following people complaining all the time?
Because people like to be miserable.
Mm.
That's such a real thing. It's just like, let's look at all that's wrong in the world, and then maybe it can validate why I don't have any friends.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, people just don't get it.
This is a rough therapy hour. Hitting me,
Ugh.
tugging on my heartstrings there. Yeah,
Ugh.
I am always like, I love the public conversation about teachers' wages. Like, I even bring it up with my
I do too.
kids. Like this week in school, one of my kids was like, "How much do you make, Mr. Kerr? Like, what, 30K a month?" And I was like, I know this is English class. Can we multiply that times 10%? Or
Yeah.
And
30K a month is amazing.
But that's what their perception was. I'm like, no,
really?
Yeah, yes.
I mean,
I'm
obviously they're not doing the math to say he probably doesn't make $360,000 a year. But like, is that? I mean, oh my god!
And then
that's so great. Look at how good of a job they think you're doing.
Okay, I'll take that compliment. I'll take that. That's a W.
That's their compliment. I just framed it in a way where you should have framed it to begin with, because that is complimentary. They think you deserve that.
Yeah, except I got caught up in the, oh my gosh, maybe I'm making too little, because the next thing after they did the math, they're like, oh, you only make $3,000 a month. And I'm like, yeah, that's about where I sit. And I work in a small town. It's like, it's not a terrible position to be in compared to a lot of people. There's a lot of poverty, like where I live. I don't complain that much, but if I can get higher pay, I'm going to fight for it. But then this kid that brought it up was like, oh my gosh, dude, like my mom makes that in a week. And I was like, you didn't have to rub that in. I mean, you didn't have to say that.
But I think that still goes along with the same idea of, like, I don't know, as a teacher, I've been told I'm, at any point in my career, I'm 22 years old or I'm 50. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot of understanding of both age or income necessarily, because, like, at this point, I think I've hit the part in my career where I'm just going to be assumed to be roughly the same age as their parents. Yeah. And it's going to be that way for the next 20 years. Like, that's just going to be how old I am, unless I say it.
Yeah, I think it's an important conversation to have with them, though, because it's something like, in a couple of years, my 8th graders are going to get jobs, and they're going to take home $500, $800 a month or whatever for minimum wage, and then they're going to figure out, like, oh, like, maybe I can get into this thing if I'm not satisfied with my life. Maybe I could get into teaching. In Texas, there's a lot of programs to get your certification in a variety of ways. And if I, give that sort of, like, insight, maybe it will inspire them to shoot a little further,
Yeah. So, okay, so a couple of points of clarification then. So you're getting paid over the course of 12 months.
Yeah.
Then your take home is $3,000?
Yeah.
What's your salary?
52.
Okay. 52, take home's 3. And is that good? I don't know anything about Texas money at all. Is that, like, enough to live there? Like, is that a living wage there?
Where I am, yeah. I know the closer you get to, like, the big cities like Houston or Dallas, they boost that pay by, a lot. Like, it's like 68,000 for someone with similar years as me. But it is impossible.
And how many years is that? Sorry, that was my next question.
I've been working. This is my official 7th year, like, on paperwork, but, like, 8th year technically.
Okay.
Because I did, like, a long-term sub position, and they're like, "Oh, that doesn't count." And I'm like, "Fuck you."
Right? Isn't that my district was like that, and I understand it, because by the time I got to my district, I think I had 12 years, and the way that they did it, is they would honor 6 years, and then anything over 6 was a 7th year. So, like, whether you had 7 years or 35 years, you got 7. But it's also a pretty high-paying district relative to a lot of places, because Colorado's weird. Like, there's a lot of rural districts that are like way isolated. The high school I came from only had like 350 students at it, right? And so there's a lot of isolated ones, and then there's these like massive school districts that kind of line the I-25 corridor, essentially, like north to south, and then that's the space because it was closer to my house, so that's where I'm at now. But yeah,
Yeah, that
I mean,
kind
as long
of
as it's a living wage and kids like that,
yeah.
like that's really exciting. That
Yeah.
that a kid could be into that.
I hope
I don't
so.
know.
It's better than them being into I don't know, vaping. Apparently, there are rumors going around that parents will sell vapes to middle school kids. We'll talk about an income. That vape is gonna be incoming to your lungs and they're gonna explode. Stop vaping.
Okay, that's horrible. I don't know. We're talking money.
We're back to C is for character of like if you're in the realm of education or the realm of being a good human, don't sell vapes to kids. You know.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure the C's for clouds.
Oh, C is for clout. Clout and clouds.
Your conversation then is one that I have too, and I think it ends up looking a little bit different because my students, a lot of my students, honestly, have a pretty like their household income is probably pretty large.
Mhm.
Like it's pretty significant at the school that I happen to be at now. When I first started teaching in Arizona in 2006, my original teaching contract, I still have it downstairs. I should go and find it. Was for $27,000 a year, and I thought. And my wife was like over 30,000 because she was in Phoenix, and we were like, this is it. Like I am rich. I've never been like her every 2-week check was like $1,000. Like it was 4 figures. And we thought we were balling. And that it turns out is not accurate. And so yeah, now I'm at this new district and okay. So we're talking salary. Mine's a little bit different than most people's. I am 1.12 of an employee. I am 112% of an employee because I am on overload, which means that for 3/4 of the year, I teach an additional class. And so that makes me a 1.12 employee. A full overload would be 1.18. And so my original salary, I have a master's. I have 14 years in this district, even though I'm going on year 20. My salary is $88,000, but then with the overload, it's $99,000. And then I teach a summer program and do a couple of other things around the building that puts me at about 103. And so looking then at that, and then I agree. And so looking at that, like that's a lot. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a teacher. Right, I'm in a Tom Bosley shirt from like Murder, She Wrote, and Happy Days. He's the dad. But looking at something like that, right, I can talk to my students and be like, I make an extremely livable wage as a high school English teacher. Like this is, and that's because I'm at this district. If I was at the district I was at before, I'd be at 66, 65. With more years. I'd have more years there. I mean, like that's the difference that it makes. And so I hear so many teachers that are so upset about what they make or their conditions. And I'm not saying people can always relocate where they live necessarily, but again, unless you're like kind of locked up in a small town where like the commute would be impossible, odds are there's like maybe, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but man, sometimes the grass is greener. This is my 6th district.
Yeah.
In 2 states. And so, like that, I mean, that money makes a huge difference. That's huge. I am happier because of it.
Yeah, I think it's important, and this is where I get stuck sometimes, is like to know just because you want to invest in a community and like make it the best school that you can, like we all have that dream as teachers. You're not locked into it. You don't have to unless like maybe you sign a contract to go back and get your master's 5 years or whatever, or you're
Like
trying
a
to
cohort.
or you're trying to get loan forgiveness, which who knows if that's going to still be a thing in this moment. But yeah, I like it's all the math that you got to do, and it's a calculus, but you're not locked in. I feel like that's important to recognize as educators.
It's crucial, and I think that's been when I've made like pay transparency videos, and I've talked about this. Like I am a high school English teacher, and I make 6 figures a year. I do, and I can say that, and I can say in the same breath, teachers in general deserve to make more. Do I? I no. Like I think I'm not talking about me. But elsewhere, that it's outrageous, especially in like metropolitan areas or places where people can't, like, their salary alone wouldn't pay their rent, and like that's excluding everything else. I don't know. Now is maybe a bad time to talk about it because we're talking about like how much teachers should make, and it's going to be a matter of if teachers are even going to be able to teach.
Yeah.
Like, like we should make more. Like, what if you make nothing and do something else?
Hey,
Because that's bleak.
that might move us into the next topic of like extracurriculars to earn more money. Like I used to teach English learners, and the big grind there is like teaching English on like Zoom, like teaching them
Yeah.
to other teachers. Like everyone in college did that. Everyone in my like field did that. Whenever we did like district meetings, they would have their kids that they would tutor online, and you can charge like whatever you want. And there's some rich kid in China just trying to get a good conversation in, or their parents are forcing them to get a good conversation in.
Right.
And you're like, I'm $100 an hour. That's an extra $200 in your pocket every week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I never even knew that was an option. I've never heard of the service that you were providing.
It's huge. And I think you need it used to be you just needed a bachelor's degree and your native language is English. I think you do need to be like TEFL certified, which is like teaching English as a foreign language. That's one big thing that people do, and I might try and like wet my feet doing that this summer, just trying to have something to do while I do my master's. That's been my big debate. It's like, what am I going to do? I'm still going to get paid, because I'm on the 12-month contract. Do I really need to do this? But it might be good. It might be good,
I think, I mean, when I was young, my job, I worked retail because I worked at Gap all through high school, through college. I was a manager there when I was in college. I was full-time. And then I kept full-time for the first couple of years of teaching. Like I would leave teaching and I'd go directly to the mall and I would work and I would build like walls and dress mannequins and use the steamer. And that was my thing. And I did that for a long time. But then like, again, I've always pushed finding an overload, like being able to teach that extra class. If I can make more while I'm at work, I'm going to be doing that. And if it means I don't have a break, then I don't have a break because I'm already there. And so that's no additional time commitment in my mind because I'm already in the building. And so I always went for overloads because they just pay so much. I mean, in Arizona, it was called a sixth fifth, because you taught 5 classes and then that would be your 6th one. But then I taught, it was called a 0 hour. So I'd start teaching at like 6:30 in the morning. I would teach 6 classes straight and I was back home in my pool that, like, again, because you could afford stuff then, I was back home in my like little pool in my backyard by like 1:30.
Yeah.
Like my day was done.
How did you manage like the planning and curriculum and stuff for that overload?
On the way that I do it now, like my schedule is out of control, if I'm being completely honest. So like right now I teach 2 sections of AP Lang. One of them has 60 students, the other one has 33. I teach 3 sections of 9th grade honors. On average, those have 27. I teach a young adult novel class that has 21. I teach an SAT prep course that has 20. So those are my classes right now. And so I see 4 classes one day, 3 the next day. So on that one where I have 3, I have an hour and a half off plus my lunch, so I have 2 hours. I show up to work about an hour early. I get a lot done then. I am hyper productive during my prep, which is 2 hours. I normally eat through my prep on those days because I don't want the break. I just cruise. And then I'm at school for an extra 40 minutes before I pick up my kids, but 20 of those minutes are making my TikToks.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I'll go home and just sit at my dinner table, though, and like just be productive.
Okay.
Like that, because it doesn't feel like work. It's like I'm just sitting here anyway. Like I can do something. So when I was young, honestly, I think my teaching just suffered. Like I just don't think I was all that. I don't think what I did was all that thoughtful, and so I don't think it took a long time. Yeah. And I think I was just putting numbers on papers, and that didn't take a long time because I don't think I was just that good at this job. I don't think I knew what good looked like.
And then you looked in a mirror when you turned 30 and you're like, that's what good looks like.
That's what it is. Started growing some facial hair and it changed everything. But really, I don't know what I want to how I want to say this. I now work with a very, very good teacher. A very, very good one. And her name is Laura Munley. I would like to shout her out. And she pushed me to question all of the things that I did as a teacher and how I was spending my time. Not like you're not spending enough time, but like what are you actually doing with it? Because like the students like me, I got by on rapport.
Mhm.
Like that was always great. I think I was a really enjoyable teacher to have, but I don't know to what extent I was providing quality service. And that pushed me to question those things. And so now I'm still working the same amount, but it's so much better. And so like if I was doing the same job I used to do and was making $100,000, I think I'd feel guilty. If I'm being honest, like I don't, because looking at it now and like what I'm doing now is so much more worth the money that I'm being paid and the time that kids are giving me. It makes a difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference when you feel that, I'm doing enough to earn what I have and you have enough to live at the same time.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I want to get into. And it's like, okay, so now I'm doing these great things and I'm not doing it again to like throw my face in a bucket of water and like show everybody how to grind or anything. But I kind of want to start packaging this stuff and putting it on Teachers Pay Teachers. I have never personally purchased from Teachers Pay Teachers. Like I make my content, I make my materials, or I make them with Laura. But like
Yeah.
I make almost the entirety of what I do, and anything else is like stuff I've collaborated on. But it's all I've been near the process at least. But I don't know. I kind of want to sell some of my stuff. I don't know. Where do we stand on Teachers Pay Teachers?
I am for Teachers Pay Teachers. Like the episode is, collecting your bag, cashing in your bag.
Yeah.
If you've got some documents that are just sitting, why not make an account? Why not just put this up there and have some sort of, SEO, search engine optimization title being like 5th grade history, this subject specifically. You might be like, oh, this is too niche. This is too like blah, blah, blah. Someone is going to look for that and they're going to need it. And, couldn't be me, but they're going to be desperate on a morning where they're like, oh shit, I forgot to do this or that thing. I was too busy the night before. I had to go to the hospital, whatever. Hey, it happens. But two things, you're providing a service for that person. You're giving them exactly what they need. And that's a valuable thing, Also, it's just going to sit in your Google Drive or on your USB stick. It's like, why not just toss it out there? I don't know if it costs. I don't know if it's like, producing an app on the Apple Marketplace or Google Marketplace where you have to like pay a fee to be
I signed up for it.
Okay.
I signed up for it because I made a post about my young adult novel class, and people were like, "I want your reading list."
Yeah.
And I was like, well, the best way to get my reading list on there would be to just put it on Teachers Pay Teachers and not charge for it.
Yeah.
Because I think, so when I signed up, I didn't know this then, because I was going to put it up there for like 50 cents, like, I don't know, whatever the minimum was, only to find out you can not only put free things on there, but the first thing you put on there has to be free. So I put my reading list on there. That's the only thing that's in my classroom right now. But the way that I run my classes is hyper organized. I don't know if I've ever shared any of this stuff with you, but it's like, my classes could be done by students without me there.
That's sick.
Like that's how clear the materials are.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it would be nearly you wouldn't have an educator there to like help and answer questions and do those things, but I think I can package these things up this summer and maybe get some on there before back to school, and I am feeling good about that. I don't know what to charge. Again, I don't know what I'm worth though. Like what I don't know what those things are worth. I'll probably just have to do some comparative analysis.
I think the biggest thing is like what we talked about earlier of like messaging people who do that thing. I know like nearly everyone that I've contacted on this platform or other platforms, or people in my district that I know that produce these kinds of things, they're more than happy to tell me like what they charge and what they, how they got their stuff out there and how much they earned. Like it's not, I've never had someone be secretive or like try and hide something from me.
Yeah, I know. I work with one teacher that I know does it, and she just talked about, yeah, I sell it. I have these units up there for a couple of books, and I sell a couple of them a month, and like, it's a few bucks,
Yeah.
and I don't remember how much exactly, but it's more than you would have not doing it, and it's already made. It's not like it's any upkeep. So I'm interested in that. I think that's where I'm at. I don't know, but other than that, I mean, I teach this cool summer program. I do the scoreboard of the football games. They pay me for that, but I would do it for free because it's the best seat in the house, and Colorado's cold, and our team is good. Go Tigers!
Maybe we should
But that's
talk
all I
about.
do.
Hold on. Maybe we should talk about that. What should be the bar for people doing stuff for free, especially in the place of education? Because it's like kind of an epidemic, in my opinion, of people being taken advantage of.
Yes.
Or over offering themselves, or being over voluntold to do things because they volunteered for that one night where they did things.
I think I've repressed my experiences as somebody who used to do that. Like at my last school, I taught an overload and was not paid for one. I taught ninth grade honors. I taught 10th grade pre-AP. I taught AP Lang. I taught college level seniors. I had all of those classes. One of them was a block with a humanities teacher or a history teacher. So while there was two of us in there, it was for 2 blocks. So I gave up a prep hour to teach this extra long class. I did not get paid for it. I was in charge of fundraisers and I didn't get paid for it. I had to do it. Small school, everybody chips in. I said once that I didn't work on weekends as a joke, and my boss called me in and said that students complained that it sounded like I didn't care. Their parents complained that it sounded like I didn't care because I said that I didn't work for free.
Dog, you couldn't catch me working at school for on the weekend or at night unless I am clocked in. And
But
barely
like at the same time, like I'm more than happy. Like I don't know. Maybe it's because nobody's telling me to do these things that I'm actually interested in doing them. Like I work a lot with the theater department. Like any chance that I get, I mean a lot. Like I don't want to oversell it, but if they ask me to be in a play, I'm going to be in it. You obviously don't have to pay me for that. I'm going to be a judge at this thing called Erie Idol that we have. It's like a singing competition. You don't have to pay me for that. I want to go do that. I'll be your barbecue dad and run your barbecues after school a couple times a year. Like I don't want to be paid for that. I mean, what are you going to do? Even then, like the scoreboard of the football games, I would volunteer for that. Some of the guys in the box with me are volunteers, like because they're not on the district payroll.
Yeah.
I'd be that guy. I'd do that, but it's because no one's making me.
Yeah,
So-
and there's an aspect of like this is community, and it's your people, and it's your bowling.
And I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And so, but you see teachers get taken advantage of all the time. They're meetings, just meetings on meetings on meetings, and like people, I don't think maybe talk about that. Maybe they do. I'm just not on that corner of the world. But like, just spending so much of the time that I am employed to be an educator, meeting about being an educator.
Ugh.
Like when we have after school meetings, we have one the first. What is it? Like the first Monday of the month or whatever. Those are salaried in.
Mm-hmm.
We have X amount and they're this length of time, and that is one of my days of work. We have parent-teacher conferences. Those are salaried in. Those are days of work. I'm contractually paid for those. I'm getting that money. Like if you don't do that, you have to you call out. Like you have to be there because
Right.
you're paid to do that or make it up somewhere else. We have a whole document with a spreadsheet that you have to say, here's the 28 hours of stuff I'm doing because I get paid for those 28 hours in my contract. It's not just like, well, you have to sponsor a club for nothing.
Right. Which
Do you have to? I don't know if you want to. Do you have to do stuff like that?
do you
Do you want to talk about?
it's a small school, so it's kind of like you're expected to show up, but I don't think
Yeah.
And I have a really good principal, one that I'm honestly gonna model myself after if I ever get in that same position. Shouts out to him. But
I like the guy I work for a lot too. And
Yeah.
this isn't us like be like, hey, so endorse our podcast. I really like this guy a lot. I'm a big fan.
it's just nice when they're like, hey, I understand you got something to get to. Don't worry about this. But it also makes me want to be like, okay, I do want to be a part of the positive atmosphere that this guy is also investing in. It's not like to have people run alongside you to make your community a better place. It's like all we want. you know?
Don't you? I love shit like that
Yeah.
because so for the last not this year, but the 2 or 3 years before that, I taught a night class through CU, and so like in addition to the overload, I would then leave. I would go to a place. It's a district center, and it was offered for free to like employees of affiliate daycares or para educators or whatever. And if they could find people to teach these classes, then these students got to take these classes for free. And so I taught this nights class, and I taught it twice a week, but like one of those was always going to be on our monthly meeting. And so I went and talked to our boss. He was new at that point, and I was like, so
I can't be
I
here.
have this thing that'll pay me like $7,000 a year. And the key here though is that I'm never gonna be in a meeting. So instead of doing this thing that I'm probably
He said, rise and grind, go get that bag.
he goes, so you're gonna spend that time teaching like community members basically and like employees? And I said, yeah. And he goes, that sounds great.
Come on, he said,
Okay,
go
okay,
chase
so I'm
that
just gonna
bag.
leave. I'm just gonna okay. I'm gonna go then. Like, oh my god, that kind of thing. I don't feel like I owe anybody for that, but I do think about that a lot when I'm kind of tempted to maybe say no to something, and then I'm like, man, they said yes to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I don't know. I'm not indebted, but decent people don't forget shit like that. I don't think.
Plus, it leaves you the option open to go announce bingo.
Yes, and I volunteer that too,
And
and that's a whole lot of fun. But they give you $10 in concessions, so who's really winning there?
That's a whole dinner.
That's several pretzels and a very large iced tea.
All right, let me tell you my big plan. This is gonna make me rich.
Okay, let's hear it, and then let's talk about how that's going to fit into the money we already make on the internet. What's your plan?
Okay, you mentioned like volunteering for club. It reminded me of the club I just started. If anyone doesn't know, I started a Pokemon club. Well, I didn't start it. Like there were like these little sixth graders who came up to me, and they know that I play Pokemon on TikTok, and I have some memorabilia in my classroom. They're like, "Yo, will you sponsor a Pokemon club?" And I'm like,
Yes.
"Yeah." So they like throw like they
I love
pull
school.
out.
I love school.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. They pull out this wound up like piece of paper and they're like, sign here, and it's like penciled in like a contract to get it started. I'm like, oh, this is so sick that they're getting this like initiated. And then they leave my room. They come back 10 minutes later and they're like, we got this approved by the principal. I'm like, yes, let's meet every Wednesday. So that's what we've been doing. But here's the plan. Okay, right now it's no money. Okay, it's just passion. It's love for the game. Big way people are making money right now are Pokemon card scalpers. Okay? Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay.
No, I play Pokemon Go, and that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, but you're familiar with the realm of Pokemon. So there's like a couple different platforms that they play on. There's like the video game, the mobile app, but the age-old one is the Pokemon cards since the 90s. And it had a big resurgence during COVID. And it kind of got started like it's been kind of treated as like NFTs or like Bitcoin almost. Like their value goes up kind of like a stock. And recently, every new release that they have gets an exponentially more amount of attention and following. And there'll be guys and girls, everyone, waiting outside Target to drop off their new load.
That I've heard of. Yes.
It's like, white women with their Stanley Cups coming out.
Or oh my god, what is the cups they would sell at Marshall's? I can't remember. With the little font
like the marble ones. Yeah. I don't know.
That was the craziest thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll think of it at some point. My computer's not open. I'm just going to try to get this one from my brain. So what do you want to do? I'm so sorry.
So the problem is with those scalpers, they're usually either in one person or pairs. Imagine I have like 6 of these kids that are passionate about Pokemon no matter what. I not only teach them this skill to collect Pokemon cards, we, have responsibility and discipline. Like we're going out there at 5 a.m. for the release to happen. And we're working together. We're coordinating. We're setting up plans to go and get these like mission. It's like a spy network kind of deal. Multiple of us going in and scalp. Well, I probably shouldn't use that word, scalping. I'll think of a more ethical way to frame this. We get the Pokemon cards and then sell them online. share the profit.
Okay, so you
This
just
is-
invented you just invented gangs.
I mean, they exist for a reason, I think. I get Team Rocket now. That's a Pokemon reference.
You-
I get why they. Oh no! What am I doing?
You just wrote Ocean's 11. You
Ocean's 11. It's gonna work. We're gonna come
it's
back to this
worked.
conversation.
It's worked a lot in a lot of different. I can point to some of them on a map, and like the different sides where those different groups of middle school Pokemon trainers have really taken to the streets.
I'm gonna come back next. We're gonna come back next year on the 365th episode. Oh, I guess
Okay.
53rd episode because we go weekly.
There we go.
I'm gonna come out with a big ass chain like T-Pain has.
Is everybody gonna have the same color chain?
Yeah. We will.
Yeah,
We will be
okay.
those guys. We will be
Okay,
him.
maybe you should get bandanas.
Bandana. Okay, I see what you're doing here.
Maybe.
Before I can be incriminated by this, let's move back on topic.
It's so look. I think it's $1 million idea. I have seen the videos of people doing that, and it is lawless. It is truly lawless because the amount of money to be made there. Like at one point, I was on the corner of TikTok where all I was watching were lives of people opening Pokemon card packs, and it was like the most engaging thing. Only for me to learn that none of those boxes were even owned by the guy that was opening them. People were paying him to then open those, and then like he'd get this great card, but then people would like send him gifts on TikTok, and it was like, this is unreal.
I'm just
The
saying.
money that is being made here.
Imagine if you had a way into that market of sixth graders who enjoyed that kind of thing, and that way into that market is 1 million sixth graders who come to my class voluntarily
Yes.
to make some beautiful profit.
Yeah. Yeah. The kids yearn for the profit.
The kids here for the profit.
I think that's
I'm
look,
dead.
and I think that's wonderful. And I'm telling you, do you know how engaging it would be if you were one of those Pokemon pack guys that was opening them, but then there was just like a faceless group of kids behind you, and it was just audio, and you like are pulling these cards, and they're so pumped about it, and like you pull some like. Could you imagine you get like some hologram
that
or
would be
something, and
so
these kids
sick.
are just losing their minds behind you? I think that would be one of the most intoxicating lives ever. People would watch the hell out of that to just hear like childhood nostalgia, like, "Whoa, can I see it?"
You're not wrong. There is an idea here. The ethics are questionable, but what good
Yep.
idea doesn't push the
And all-
boundary?
All
of
the money
ethic?
from the live goes back into the club.
Well,
It's
I
just
mean,
a fundraiser.
except for the,
It's just a fundraiser.
it's just a fundraiser.
It's
We're
just
just
a
buying.
fundraiser.
We're buying T-shirts, okay, and
Yeah.
and
This
bandanas.
is a fundraiser. It is no different than buying a pallet of soda from Costco and selling it outside of a game. It's the same thing. It's the same. You can't. That's a flawless analogy. There's not one flaw.
Not one.
That's what flawless is.
Flawless. Yes.
Flawless. So you go live. I'm terrified to go live. Do you make any money on those at all?
I do. Yeah. There's definitely some good days and bad days. I have one guy. Shout out to Capman who comes in every single live and gives me a cap. It's just like 50 cents, but it's like this is a real thing. I'm getting money on the internet.
That's cool.
Yeah, the biggest thing is when you have a gimmick. Like there are
Okay.
some people who, like there are trends and stuff with going live of like NPC content, just doing
Oh,
whatever
I
the
saw
chat
that.
says. I don't know how I really feel about it. I don't think it's well. I mean, I say it's like not sustainable, but like for a couple of years now, there's been some people who have gone on and done their whole shtick with other
Mhm.
creators on different platforms, and they've stayed relevant. So I mean, maybe there's something there. I like the idea of kind of modeling a Twitch streamer who has either something they're really good at and they're always trying to do that one thing like playing a video game, or I like watching Kai Cenat who makes his streams a production
Okay.
yeah, like kind of I like to imagine, like, you know, we have talked about Hero's Journey before.
Yeah.
Like, if I could ideally make any live, it would be some sort of Hero's Journey, like I have this problem. We're gonna see how we can get to the end and have some sort of resolution for it. That's what like drives me to make lives. It's not always hitting, but I know that's not where everyone makes money. It's just like that's just my idea of fun and like creative energy. I know a lot of people just make money off of battling and like begging for money.
That part of it stresses me out because I'd like to go live, but I would I wouldn't have anything to do without some sort of engagement necessarily provoking it. Like if people wanted to talk about kind of what we're doing here, if people wanted to talk about teaching, or they wanted to talk about creating things for the internet, or they want like things you want to talk about bowling, you want to talk about whatever, like I could see myself doing it from like a question and answer standpoint. But again, that even feels kind of vain. Like, okay, I'm here. I'm sure you're all curious. What do you like? I don't know. So I've just never done it because honestly, that's what I could be doing in those 20 minutes before I pick up my kids while I'm standing there at school. I could just stand there and hit live and see what happens. But that feels, I don't know. I've just never. I've never gone there, and I don't know. Like we've talked about this before. It's kind of the same reason why I don't make original content for Instagram. Like, if I'm not getting paid for that harassment, among the other things, I'm not going to put myself out there to do it.
Yeah, I will say this: there are accounts with 1,000, 3,000 followers that make relevant amounts of money. Maybe not tremendous amount of money, but like. Extra $1,000 every month. Like I knew this one guy. He's an EDM artist called Jess Bless, and he does those battles. And I don't know how many followers he had. When I met him, he only had like 4,000 or like 12,000 maybe, which is like. I hate being that guy, like judging numbers, but it's trying to get to the science of kind of the analytics and like how much money you can make at any level. Like he was making tremendous amounts. He was paying for him to go on tours and like pay for his rent and stuff just by going live. It's definitely a weird thing to do. You kind of got to be a certain kind of person that endures the weirdos on there. You got to like set up. For me, like I have mods who make sure to monitor my chat to make sure if a kid from my school gets in there that they are muted, that they can't talk because they're going to say some dumb shit. I love you guys, but we've got to
it's anonymous. They don't know how it's not necessarily your live, it's a live. Yeah. Right. But now they feel like they're part of it so now they have more freedom to say those things because you are a recognizable person. Therefore, like they have inherited by proximity some of that attention, and therefore it warrants like this out-of-pocket behavior.
Yeah. Those are my thoughts on going live on TikTok. I recommend trying it, and if anything, before you go live and you're not like one of those like I'm gonna battle or I have this shtick that I go into, like write out like, okay, this is my problem. This is what I want to do to solve it, and just like follow along that journey until you either get tired or you complete the journey. And like you can ham it up along the way. You can like make different parts. I mean, I'm kind of getting into like how Mr. Beast makes his videos, which take it out with a grain of salt. He's successful, but does he make good content necessarily? Not all the time, but there are some things. If you follow that kind of formula, I imagine one thing will be a banger and like people will resonate with. So that's my thoughts on TikTok lives.
I mean, yeah, I could honestly, if the if the money I made from the views I get from my videos got down to be consistently lower than it was, I think that would be a thing that I would pursue because this has become a stream of income that I have grown not to necessarily depend on, but really appreciate. This idea that like if I'm spending my time on my phone, I'm able to then take money out from that and like go and do things with it. Because I'll tell you, the creator fund has been very, very good to me. I think like relative.
Yeah, what are all the things that you've been able to do with the creator fund? If you don't mind bragging.
So no, let's get into it. I mean, so before we started, I went and looked at my numbers. Since March 1st, 2024, I have made $19,500 in the creator fund. Okay. And so yeah, bring it back. And
That's
that's me,
so
my
much.
little step.
Oh my god.
That's so, and over the course of that year, I would say in March, I had like 45,000 followers. Now I'm up to 75,000. My lowest month, we're being candid here because we're collecting the bag. My lowest month in the last 12 was November. I made $269. My biggest was in April. Over the last 12 months, I made $4,200.
Dang.
The last 4 months in December, it was 1800. January was 1,000. February was 2055, and so far in March, it's 1,400. It's great money. And so I have bought braces for my kids, and we have been able to go on family trips, and I have donated a bunch of it. One of those videos was a post I made about Helen Keller being real, and that was it. And it made like a bunch of money, and so I took that money and I donated it to the special education department at my school, because all of that money came from people who were being ableist and terrible, and I hate everything about that. And so that money felt dirty, and so I gave it to the people that are actively doing the things that the people in those comments say they can't. So like, thank you, because that went to the best place ever. Sorry, you're all the worst, like all of you people that said terrible things, but guess what, you did a good thing whether you meant to or not, because I can do things like that. It's changed my life.
That's crazy. I mean, especially just that last part of transforming negative attention, and that like that like we talked about, like people get on here just to complain, taking that
Yeah.
like attention economy and like actually using it for something good, and like no one knows about it, and except for maybe your like your corner of the internet, your corner of your school. And like,
People at my work don't know I did it. My principal did. He wrote me a nice letter. The lady who runs the program knows I did, because I didn't know how to donate. But like, yeah, I wrote a check and I did that. That's not a thing I'm talking about at work. I'm saying it here to you and anybody that listens. I'm not trying to keep it a secret, but that's not. It's the same. Like, I have my buddy. My buddy got diagnosed with ALS. He is younger
Yes.
than me, and
Yeah.
he's one of the world's best human beings. I just love this guy. So we made him a hype video. I used money from TikTok to pay one of my students to make the world's most absurd hype video, and it was amazing. And I'm glad I got to pay her, right? College kid who's in school to make videos. So like, this is wonderful. That thing did like 400,000. I took all of the money from that and put it in his and gave it to him. And with the money from that and the fundraiser, which raised him like $6,000, he bought a new walker, because like that's a thing that he kind of needs now. So he got some new wheels, and like, I love the internet. Like it's fulfilling. I never thought that this would be something that I would be able to do, that I would want to do, that would never. But a guy goes viral once, and then let's see what we can do.
You're such the rightful owner. I don't care what anyone says or what the law or the internet says. You are the rightful owner of dollarbills.y'all.com. Also,
Man,
why are you not anonymously writing? Like, sorry, my brain is just fucked up.
Okay.
Such great things that you're doing. Why didn't you write into the news as an anonymous person or yourself and been like, I was able to use my TikTok account, Mr. Up TM, to raise this money for this thing, just to get that sweet verification?
I was wondering where this was going, because I was like, what is wrong with you? Then you got no,
not in like a selfish way, but
blue check. You got to the blue check, and then I was like, man.
But on top of that, it could also get attention, like, you know, and like more attention towards that fundraiser, whatever fundraiser you're honestly giving to.
Yeah,
it's a good thing, and like honestly, the world needs to be filled with more stories like that. You know, that's corny as hell, but like everyone needs that.
Look, and we talked about the reason that I can do that is because I work in a district that pays me enough money that I can pay my bills, right? And that's not I've got to be totally clear. My wife is also successful, like more successful than I am. I shouldn't say also. It is not comparative. She is far more successful than I am in a different industry doing different things.
Yeah.
And so it's with that being said, though, that now that she was able to switch jobs. This allowed us a bit of a buffer for that over those couple of months, right? But now that she's been able to do that and I can see this money, now I can do something with it that that I don't need to do because I can pay my mortgage, right? Like, so I don't know. I try to do stuff like that, or like spend it on memories for my kids. Like let's go on a trip. Like let's do stuff as a family. Like it's nice to be able. Like we just went to Arizona for spring training, and while we were there, I got the direct deposit from TikTok. Covered it. Like, okay, well let's go get some chicken wings because Dad got views. Like that's fucking absurd.
Yeah. That's crazy. What a weird sentence. Golly.
It's right. It's never not weird. Like, nope. Yeah. Dad got views. Dad did some numbers. You know, my kid will come home and be like, some of the kids in my class saw you on TikTok. And I know I didn't do anything embarrassing. It wasn't me doing prank videos or putting Orbeez in my bathtub and I had my shirt on the whole time.
One of these days we will get you out of that shirt.
Oh. God, I don't know. It's something that I love, and I don't know how I didn't mention this. I also own a mobile bar.
Yeah, you've said that before. Yeah.
so we have that, and when I say we, I mean yes, my wife and I own it. My wife primarily. My wife runs all of that. Like, and if it's something where she needs help and there's not somebody else, because she normally has people that she works with, like I'll go do it. But that's really her thing. But that's also again another stream of income for the household.
Yeah.
We didn't talk your internet money. Do we want to?
Guys, I don't make money on the internet.
I think that's an important conversation to have because I think there is this idea that no matter if you have followers, then you have money. And so if I make X amount of dollars, if I make $2,000 a month because I have 75,000 followers, that would mean that because you have 3 times that, almost 4, then you would make 4 times the amount of money. That math is not accurate. Friends, that is not how any of this works.
Gang, let me.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah. Oh God, I've made 6 cents. I've made. Okay, I mean compared to last year, I've made money. I've made about $6 since January. Past year,
minute-long content.
$230. Pretty sick.
I mean, and the thing is when I look at it, like, and you mentioned this, the follower count, I think might be the fakest number in terms of like meaningfulness in almost every measurable metric. Like, to be clear, if there's a lot of people following, that means there's a lot of interest, and there's something that feels so validating about that, and I know you agree with that. Like, I'm kind of proud that I run this account that has 75,000 followers. I know that somewhere in you're like 270,000, like that's dope.
Yeah, like, it's $250,000.
That's cool. That feels good, but it doesn't basically translate to anything else.
Yes, it does not. I would tell you the most authentic number I think is an average viewer on live, like on the whole platform of TikTok. If you're talking analytics. I think the most valuable metric you can find is the average viewer that you have on your live videos, because those are people who are in your community usually, like your quote unquote community. I've been also wanting to play around with just follow only videos. I know some people who do that and make it exclusive to people who are in the community and see. You know, if I didn't reach out to the For You page and I focused on building the 270,000 people who do follow me and just make exclusive content for them, I wonder, that's been something that's been cooking in my brain. I've got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah. I think that sounds really neat. I didn't even know you could do stuff like that, because it's funny, because if you said what is like the number aside from dollars, right? Like what is the number that's the most important in terms of analytics? It's how long people watch one of my posts. Mm-hmm. Like that's the number. And I guess that kind of correlates with the watch through rate too, which is the amount of people that have actually finished the video. And that's kind of where you can start to get tricky with how you keep people engaged. I started to just roll mine over right? So like the end of my video was the beginning of it too, and then I just like cut it right in the middle of a sentence and like just try to trick it a little bit. But I like when people watch them for a while. Like,
Yeah.
man, you really listen to me stand here in this classroom for more than 2 sentences.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about rhetoric. Like, man,
Yeah. Maybe
makes a guy feel like he's doing a good job.
maybe in terms of like a marketing value, or even like in a storytelling aspect, a rhetorical aspect. Yeah, like definitely retention time is huge.
Did it say on yours what your RPM is? Because I was looking at mine, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so in March so far, I've made $1,400, and that is a lot of money. And then I look at it, and it's like that $1,400 is from 1.4 million views. I get 70. Okay,
70
so
cents.
mine's a $1.02 currently. There's been months where it's like $1.60.
That's crazy.
It's outrageous. I've seen a lot of people on here talk about this. I don't know why mine is sometimes so high. It's coming back down to earth though. On average now it's like around the 80s, like 80s or 90s, but like holy shit. But the idea of 1.4 million views, and it's like, man, those 1.4 million views were probably so valuable to TikTok, and you got away with paying me $1 for every 1,000 of them. Like
That's crazy.
That's good business.
I imagine
somebody's in.
they were
And I'm
actually.
happy about it over here, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see how many of my videos. I feel like that would be an important metric to see too. Is how many of my videos get ads after them? Because I don't see that.
Mhm.
You know, I imagine that's how it correlates to.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then they just like put them in bunches, and then every
Mhm.
third video you're just part of the bundle. Okay, what else do we have to say about collecting a bag? What have we concluded? What have we learned tonight, Mike?
If you want to create, just create. The money will come in one form or another.
I'm gonna add on to that because I have a decent, when I say a decent amount, like 3, but I have buddies and people that I talk to that are really working hard to get into the creator fund,
Mhm.
and they're already starting to like kind of practice and polish the sorts of content that they would make when they get in there. And I think that is something like, I don't know, there's a lot of people out here that treat it like a job, and I'm one of them, and I
Yeah.
think that's okay. Like, sure, I do it for the love of the game. I only post the stuff that I believe in. I'm not doing anything like that, but it is very much a job. And so I am very much hoping that you were seeing a clip of this video after April 5th on TikTok.
I was gonna bring that up too, dude. No one's talked about. It's still getting banned. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Why is no one talking?
No one's talking about it. Everyone forgot.
I swear, my wife asked about it, and I go, no, it's still April 5th. And my kids were like, no, it's not. My daughter, no, it's not. I go, yes, it so is. It so is. Nothing. You look it up. No one's talking about it because nothing's happening. And that's bad, I think. So we might have one more. So maybe we'll just have to clip the hell out of this, and you can find us on Spotify.
That's our takeaway.
Next week is yours. Any ideas for what the C is for teacher is next week?
Oh, I was writing some down. C is for cantina, kitchen. We bring a dish.
Okay. Oh, speaking of clubs, a teacher 2 doors down from me had a baking club for years, and once a month they would bring baked things that were a different theme, and every month I would go in there and help myself a little bit and talk to them, then say, is next month finally casseroles? Like, all I want, can you please just all bring casseroles? C is for
casseroles. Also, it's just now hitting my brain. There's a word for this, cooking. C is for cooking. And we could also like use the colloquial term of being cooked, cooking. We can like branch it into being burnt out. So many options.
Okay, so we can say C is for cooked, and that is going to be episode 5.
I like that.
I like that too.
I like that we're planning that a week ahead instead of the day before this.
I like that. C is for cooked. I already have stuff for the doc. Okay, thank you everybody if you were still around, if this even makes it into it. I just appreciate all of this so much to even have the opportunity to meet neat people.
Thanks for watching Type C Teachers. If you can, share, like, subscribe, all those things. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all the feedback that we've been getting so far. It's been such a fun journey for Rupp and I, and Go follow us on our social media accounts. Hopefully, TikTok doesn't get banned, but if it does, we're pretty much the same thing on every platform. So we'll see you again next week right here. Bros, should I do leg day tomorrow? Hell yeah.